So today we are looking at the next entry in my Disney Canon series, and we are looking at Lilo and Stitch. And Lilo and Stitch is a really interesting property from Disney. It's a very unique film. They really haven't done anything like that ever before and anything quite like it ever since. And so it's a fun one to talk about. When it first came out in 2002, I was not a big fan. I saw it and I thought it was kind of boring, and I thought I didn't really like Stitch as a character, and I still don't really like the design of Stitch. I still think he looks kind of like a big cockroach. I don't know, there's just something about it, just the way he moves and the way I've never been a big fan of the way they designed Stitch. But I have to say, it's a movie that the more that I watch it, the more I like it. It's a movie that is just really grown on me over the years. And so I really do enjoy it, even though there's still a few things that I don't like. But at the time, it wasn't one that I gravitated to very much. But one of the most unique things about Lilo and Stitch is the fact that it is about a little girl. That Lilo is a little Hawaiian girl and who's lost her parents. Of course, it's Disney. They're orphans. And not that many Disney films are actually about children. This is very unique in that way. You have Peter Pan, you have The Sword in the Stone, that has, is about a child. Most Disney movies, Meet the Robinsons is a really good one. Most Disney movies are about adolescents that are, just about to get married or just about to, kind of thing, which is interesting. Like, you would think in a studio that makes, has amusement parks and toys and stuff like that they would have more movies with kids in them so that kids could relate. But oddly enough, that's very rarely the case. And so it's an interesting thing. But in this case, not only is Lilo a little girl, but she's also a really unusual little girl, which I think makes her really appealing. She's like ripping the heads off her dolls, creating her own sort of weird dolls. She's in many ways a little bit kind of like Sid in Toy Story, but the hero in this case. She's taking pictures of fat people, and she's biting her friend, the girls in school. She's a very odd little girl, and I think that makes her interesting. I think that makes her feel more like a real character as opposed to a sort of a Hollywood mop top, perfect, cute little adorable kid. And I think that you really do see sort of how lonely she is, how misunderstood she is, and she's lost her parents, and I think that's probably part of the reason why she behaves in sort of the weird ways that she does. And you can just see the pain sort of her when she looks at the picture of her parents, and they just do a really good job of showing that. And so she's being raised by her sister Nani, and their relationship is really lovely. And there's this message of Ohana throughout the film, that Ohana means family, and then family means nobody gets left behind. And that is just a beautiful message. And, I love the fact that they show Nani and Lilo fighting. I love the fact that they show them making up. There's a full sort of relationship that you get between the two characters, and you just see this incredible burden that's put on Nani. And she's one of my favorite characters in all of Disney, Nani. She has so much on her plate. You just feel this pressure. I mean, she's lost her parents too, if you think about that. I mean, and then placed with the burden and blessing of taking care of Lilo and trying to make this all work. I mean, it is very, very a tough thing for her to deal with. And she loses her job several times in this film. She has to deal with Stitch and trying to find a way to keep Lilo happy. There is this guy who is trying to make sure, from social services, that is looking in on her, making sure that Lilo is getting everything that she needs. And so she has that stress of Lilo may be taken away. The social worker's name is Cobra Bubbles. And he really shows a lot of sympathy for Nani. He really wants her to succeed, but he also is practical and knows that he has to take Lilo if that's the best thing for Lilo. And so I thought they did a really good job of making that kind of nuanced and not just making him sort of a big baddie. And so she decides to adopt a pet for Lilo, and that might make her sort of happier. But they end up getting Stitch. Stitch is a creation by Dr. Jumba, who created this ultimate kind of weapon. It's called Experiment 626. And this was an illegal experiment, and he created this ultimate weapon that would create chaos, and that was what Stitch is. And Stitch is incapable of kind of bonding with people, and so he ends up escaping Stitch and ends up in Hawaii. Jumba and Agent Pleakley end up going to try to find Stitch and capture him. So there's sort of two storylines in the movie. There's Agent Pleakley and Jumba looking for Stitch, and there's Lilo trying to learn to live with sort of Stitch and dealing with Noni and Cobra Bubbles and all of that. Lilo and Stitch kind of bond because they're both kind of chaotic, sort of lost souls in a way, but Stitch is really destructive, and he's really, he practically causes the whole house to come down over a certain point. He makes Noni lose jobs a couple times, and there's just a lot of chaos because he is an agent of chaos, and so I don't know, it's just an interesting thing. And I love the moments between Lilo when she shows Stitch the Ugly Duckling book. She should get him to understand the message of Ohana. It's really, really nice. And so it's just an unusual film from Disney. I love the watercolor look. They were definitely going for something that they hadn't done since Dumbo with that watercolor look. I think all the vocal performances are good. They all feel like they are kind of authentic to the islands. And of course, I love the music with the Hawaiian roller coaster ride. And the Alan Silvestri sort of score is really good, and it just gives you the feel of the islands, which of course I love because I love Hawaii, and so it's a really, really lovely little movie. I think that there are some downsides to it. I think that it does feel a little bit of a downer sometimes in certain moments, because I think they maybe go a little too far with the destruction that Stitch causes. I mean, there's a point where you just feel like, boy, there's just nothing else that can happen bad to this family. I mean, not only have they lost their parents, but now they have, at a certain point, the house burns down, she loses multiple jobs. Like, it just can be kind of depressing, I feel like, at a certain point. Also, I think that Stitch is still just kind of, I just don't like his design. It's just not my favorite. It's still kind of gross to me. It's just not, I don't know. I just don't really, I wish they'd made him a little bit cuter. A little bit sort of more like, I don't know, a little bit more sweet. I mean, I'm not talking, he could still be an agent of chaos, but I just don't like that he looks like a cockroach to me. But that's just me, and everybody has different aesthetics that they sort of are drawn to and like, and I know other people really like the design of Stitch, but that's just what I think. And but I think that I think it does have some nice little moments of humor. I like the Elvis scenes are a lot of fun. So it does sort of lighten up the tone in a lot of ways. But I think they could have even done a little bit more, not go over the top, but just a little bit more of that, and not made it so downbeat, and I don't know, just made him a little bit cuter. So that's really my only downsides to it, though. I really do think it is one that if you didn't like it when you first saw it, give it another shot, because I think there's more there than it first meets the eye. Like, it's just so unique. It's got so much heart, and it's so beautiful, and it's got two really great characters in Lilo and Nani that are unique in the Disney canon in many, many ways. So I think they're probably the best siblings in all of Disney. They're just wonderful. So let me know what you think of Lilo and Stitch. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Where are you at on it? Put in the comments section, and thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!